So I guess we are live already. Glad to see you all. Welcome to panel Game Publishing in 2023. My name is Stacey Yamkova, Game Release Coordinator at American Gaming System, and today I will moderate this panel discussion. So I would like to introduce our speakers. First of all, Alaattin Yertürk, Growth Manager at MobileAction. Hello.
Hi everyone. Hello, and thank you for the opportunity to be a member of this wonderful panel. I'm pretty sure we will be sharing lots of insights and points that will help all the game developers around here. So, as Stacey already introduced me briefly, I am Alaattin and I am a growth manager at MobileAction. We are working with app marketers, app publishers, and app developers to with their mobile marketing efforts, with intelligence and campaign management and everything, basically. So yeah, glad to be here and looking forward to the rest of the speech. Thanks.
Okay, thank you. Also, please welcome our next speaker, Ekaterina Dekalenkova, Senior Business Developer and Market Analyst at Ketchup, Ubisoft.
Hello, everyone. I'm glad to be here. Today I will be sharing the perspective of hyper-casual market on game publishing, and I have been at Ketchup since more than 3 years, so I've seen a lot on how this market has been changing, and there are a lot of changes again. So we'll be glad to share our discoveries on this one. Thank you, everyone, for hosting me.
Glad to see you, Kate. So, and also I would like to welcome Ken Cook, co-founder at Parma Games. Hi there.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Hi. I'll be actually talking about the Web3 side of the games, Web3 side of the market. And welcome. I assume this is the first panel of the conference, so welcome to every participants.
Yes, you're right. Thank you so much. So today we will discuss different topics, and after all insight, we could answer a question from the chat if you have. So and also I would like to tell a few words about myself. I have more than 7 years of experience in game release and project management, and owning all stages of project life cycle in gaming. And if to talk about AGS is a global company focused on creating a diverse mix of entertaining gaming experience for every kind of player. And it's a Las Vegas-based company which makes gaming tables and interactive solutions for gaming houses all over the world. So please share in a few words what you are doing in your company. I know that some of you have already done it, but tell a little bit more about your role and the project. Who would like to? Yes, please.
Yeah, I can start. Again, as mentioned, like briefly, MobileAction is a company that's been in the industry since 2013, and we have started as an ASO intelligence partner for mobile marketers initially. Today, we have evolved our business into a all-in-one platform for mobile app marketing, which consists of ASO intelligence, ad intelligence, and market intelligence products, in addition to the wonderful Apple Search as campaign management platform that we also offer to our customers, which is searchas.com. Basically, how mobile marketers can utilize our platform is that they can utilize our platform with the intelligences and insights that they could receive from the MobileAction part, and actually put those insights into action on the campaign management platform searchas.com for their Apple Searches campaigns. In addition to that, my team, like growth manager team and client partner team, we offer hands-on consultation and advisory services to our customers to optimize and scale their campaigns to the level that they desire. So this is what we do in a nutshell. Obviously, there are more things, but if I were to summarize, that's pretty much it. So
thanks a lot. Who would like to be the next?
I can go next. So in Ketchup, I'm in charge of two main things. First and foremost, it's relationships with developers, answering to their needs, finding new talented studios. And the second one, which is also super important, is that I'm looking at the tendencies of the market, the changes in trends, on how to test games, how hyper-casual market is changing. And here you need to constantly stay alerted. And we'll be glad to share our researches and what we found so far.
Thank you, Ekaterina. And Kenku, please. Okay, could you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, I can hear you. I think I got connection cut off. So I think it's my turn right now. So
yes.
I'm going to continue. At Parma Games, we're actually...
something happened with connection. So I hope Ken will get back to us in a moment. Yes, you're back. We could hear you. We could see you. Ken, do you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you. Is it stable right now?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry for the bad voice that you have heard due to the connection loss. So at Parma Games, actually, to summarize it, we build outsourced game clients, and also we actually build our games as well. We are experienced in both the single player part and multiplayer part, and multiplayer is the most important place we are focused on.
Okay, thank you. So I guess we could start with main questions from about our topic today. Why do people play mobile and Web3 games? Who would like to start?
Can I start? Because my internet connection can go. It's good right now, so I'd like to actually answer it. And it's actually answer. No one plays Web3 games. If I have to talk about Web3 side, because all Web3 games in the past, they built their actually mechanics. They built their based on play to earn model, and this model is crashing to the wall when the token's price is downwards, actually going downwards. And right now, we're trying to find new models to actually keep the players. And in the tree side, I have to speak clearly because 90% of the people are not even playing.
Okay, thank you. Kate, Alaattin, maybe you would like to add something.
Sure, I can go forward. So I would say that the reason why users play mobile games or Web3 games heavily depends on the genre. So of course, mid-core and casual audiences, they mostly play certain titles because they love gameplay, they love the theme maybe, they want to grow in their skill, or maybe they enjoy the community. Why hyper-casual players are playing our games, for example, it's slightly different. It has a lot of things in common, but mostly that's because they need this quick session of instant fun to kill their time with something lightweight, something really snackable when they are queuing, commuting, etc. As soon as Web3 games are concerned, I would say that their audience is very different. Those are people who mostly enjoy NFT, and they are interested in collecting tokens, and also they hope to resell them maybe in the future because they think they'll grow in value. So those are two quite different spaces and audiences of players, I would say.
Okay, thank you. Alaattin, do you want to add something?
Well, actually, I mean, they already covered much of the things that I was going to say. because it's pretty straightforward. You either play for fun, entertainment, or if there is something to gain from playing those games, like most of the Web3 games that people are looking to actually make some monetary benefits maybe for themselves, whilst also having fun and killing some times. Only addition that I could make is to socialize, because people sometimes actually play games to socialize with other people, maybe their friends, maybe meet new friends. So yeah, that could be another point to make.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I'm agree with you. So, and how do you think? What are the key characteristics of successful mobile game?
Since I was speaking, I think I can continue.
Yeah.
So I think there are two perspectives to look from whilst answering this question, because from a user or experience of a gamer, I think the answers would change. From a perspective of a publisher or game developer, I think this could also change. But one point that's in common both between both of those perspectives is the balance between monetization and user experience. So both from publisher's perspective and a gamer's perspective, I think a successful game is balanced whilst also trying to monetize and make it profitable for the developers and publishers. It should also be still fun and enjoyable from the gamer's experience. So other than that, obviously, addictive gameplay, graphic design, and all the elements make the game obviously successful, but also the let's say appealing side of the things, like how visible is the game, how appealing the game design looks to the user, is also a great indicator if an application is a good application, good game, or let's say not as good game. So this could be my answer.
All right. Ekaterina, how do you think?
Well,
Is the main characteristic of successful mobile game?
As many actors in the industry might have noticed so far, in 2023 and in 2022, it has been harder to make a successful game in hyper-casual space. So I would say the key nowadays is to have a very well-thought strategy at all of the levels. So first, you need to start with your idea. You need to come up with a gameplay and a setting which will fit together really well organically, and then to try to successfully leverage it with your creatives. It doesn't stop there, because then we'll need to invent how to retain the players for longer in the game. So that means you need to come up with a really sticky core loop, and to be able to leverage it with different combination of short-term goals and long-term goals. So we feel to create a feel of progression for the player, so he has something to do in your game all the time, and he feels how he grows. So then in order to monetize your game and earn revenue, you also need to have a really well-defined strategy, because you need to combine the right mix of interstitials and app purchases and rewarded videos, which will fit exactly your game, exactly your title and theme, so the players don't churn and they think that it's helpful for them. And I would say that in order to sum up, the success nowadays in hyper-casual is not random. It's a result of multiple A/B tests, a result of collaboration of skillful teams together. Every decision is based on data, users' psychology, and of course, you need to keep it all together in mind at every stage.
All right, sounds good. And Can?
Yeah, actually, to be simple, there are actually subtitles for that, but I would say that it is joy, attraction, and the challenge. The attraction part is the part where you collect users or players. It doesn't matter. You can say whatever you want. And the challenge and the joy part is the place where you actually collect the users or players to the game. The most important part is actually we're entering to an area where whether actually you can collect them good or not, actually whether your game is actually satisfying these characteristics good or not. And with the latest updates on the artificial intelligence and other things like that, I know that this is not the scope of the question, but actually with the latest changes, I have to add that it will be actually the times of people who collect these characteristics too good. If you collect too good, then you will be successful.
Okay, thank you. And how do you think, what is the target audience for mobile and Web3 games?
So I think that the question starts with me. So I'm answering it. So actually, it depends on the game type. If you're just building like, how can I tell you? If you're just building a hyper casual game, it will be probably for anyone in the world, because everyone can play this game. But if you're just creating an RPG game, for example, it is depending on the topic, other things. There are lots of things. But if we have to talk about it, it is pretty clear that target audience for the Web3 games is zero right now, because no one is playing in my expertise, because it was actually, as I have stated before, it was based on earning money. And we know that this is not the right thing to do. We shouldn't actually give money to the people for making them play the game, because at the end of the day, you're trying to gain money from the game, and you will not actually satisfy the people's need. The people will not actually gain money from playing. So I cannot actually tell an exact definition for that, but it is clear that target audience is always related to the genre of the game. So yeah, I think this is it. But if we have to speak for the mobile, it can actually reach to anyone else in the world. It is actually more generalized, not specialized like PC games. In mobile, you can actually reach to the audiences that you are not actually even thinking about.
Okay, thanks, Ken. Alaattin, maybe you would like to.
Yeah. Pretty bold statements from John, actually, about especially the Web3 genre. Well, I'm not an expert on Web3 gaming, so I cannot say if like I agree or disagree. But again, like I could answer the question for a mobile game audience could be anyone basically in the world that has a mobile phone, and it depends on the game design and the category of the game. And for Web3 games, the audience could be people who are already interested or who could be interested in like blockchain technologies, NFTs, and like those cryptocurrencies, etc. Basically, like anyone related with the game. Again, like it also has a similar conception of the audience being related to the genre of the game. So the answer could be basically that.
So on the hyper casual side, it's actually getting interesting, because typically we were saying that we are making games for everyone. But nowadays we witnessed a certain segmentation of traditional hyper casual audience. We've noticed that some of the games have higher CPIs, and they're already falling off the category of pure mainstream, let's say. But they still, some players are enjoying deeper games with more features coming from casual or with deep, more complex gameplays, let's say. And like tower defense or idle arcades, which are right now quite common in hyper casual. And those players, despite the higher CPI, the higher cost of their acquisition, they actually are able to enjoy those games for longer. And basically, we see that some themes which previously were considered too niche, like space or animals, are starting to be exploited in hyper-casual. And the nice example of it is our latest release, the game Stable Life. And it has an audience mostly consisting of female from 18 to 45 years old. And its theme, as you can guess by its name, it's horses. You need to breed horses, buy new horses, and rent them to customers, etc. So that's pretty niche, right? In hyper casual, like 2 years ago, we would not even probably try to make such a game. However, it's profitable, and we found an audience which actually enjoys it. However, since it's mostly female from a certain age category, we can't say it's mainstream. And I would say it's kind of positive, because that allows us to explore some new themes, some new gameplays. And what matters in the end is for the game to be profitable. And that's what we achieve, actually. So don't be afraid to experiment with something which you would consider being not hyper casual, like card games. It's actually an interesting example of that. We see more cards in hyper casual. So the market is changing so fast that we need to reevaluate even such axiomas, such like statements, which were the fundamental of hyper casual, as we are making games for others. That's not fully true nowadays anymore.
Fantastic. Ken, do you want to add something?
No, thanks.
Great.
Yes.
All right. So the next question is quite interesting. By which qualities does the publisher choose the development studio? And where is the publisher and studio headed together? How do you think? Ken, do you want to start, or Alaattin? Yes, please.
Yeah, I can start. Actually, I'm actually on this side of investment in Web3 also. And actually, investors are looking for games that are actually having a strong lore at the back. And they are trying to see that this game is adaptable. So if I am just buying your token or something like that, I have to be actually, for NFT, for anything, it has to actually survive. It has to be used by the people so that actually we can sell it, you can sell it. So they just want to believe that this is not a scam. So I will probably say this question's answer as simple as it is. If it has a strong lore at the back, and even more than that, as I have stated before, the gamer counts in the Web3 is really low right now, because we're in the bad market situations. Situations are really bad right now in the Web3 side, as you know. But if it has a cross-platform support, this is the most important thing that publishers are looking right now. It doesn't matter if you're just building something really great like PC or something like that, because there is no actually gamers. There are no gamers at all in the Web3. So actually there are. I'm just saying that, but I am just supporting Alaattin's sentences. It is not actually zero, but it can be higher. That is why I'm actually saying that there is no one. It can be higher. It should be higher, because it's just a revolutionary technology we're talking about right now. Maybe we will go to Mars one day, and we will not actually send money with actually passing down with ships, spaceships. We will actually just click to our phone, and in 30 minutes, it will be in the Mars. It will be actually amazing. So the thing that I'm trying to tell is, I'm not going to actually go longer. It's actually cross-platform support. We're actually looking at the investment side. It's really important, because we have to get people to the Web3, lots of people, but we have to make sure that this game is not a scam. So that is why we're actually trying to tell to the developers that you need a strong lore, strong adaptability, strong cross-platform support at the back.
Okay, thank you, Ken, for Mars insights. Okay, Alaattin, do you want to add something?
Yeah, obviously. Thanks for the points, John. And obviously, like Web3 market is not it's at its highest at the moment with all the things that going around in the cryptocurrency industry. It's not like at its peak, but who knows? Maybe like in the near future, or maybe in the distant future, people will start to like blockchain technologies back again. But for overall game market, not specifically for Web3, and if the publisher is like publishers' business model is strictly in mobile market, not like cross-platform market, what it would look into in the game development studios could be as following, like the technical expertise and abilities, the previous portfolio of the studio, like the previous projects and how did they succeed or how did they fail, their availability, their punctuality, if they are able to deliver the project on time and all that stuff. Like there are many business related factors that they would look into. And I think the most important could be their portfolio, like the previous works that the studio has launched, and their success rate could be a great indicator for a publisher to consider a studio a successful studio or rather unsuccessful studio.
Yeah, I agree about portfolio. I guess it should help. Definitely. Ekaterina, do you want to?
So, of course, like Alaattin mentioned, portfolio matters a lot, and that's how we start the acquaintance with the studio. However, it doesn't tell us exhaustive information about their skill, because it doesn't say us anything about time quality ratio, about what input the publisher with whom the studio made this game, how much he participated, whether the idea was his or the developers, etc. So we traditionally look at some set of qualities in a studio which are very important to us. So since at Ketchup we allocate a lot of attention to the studios, we have quite specific approach for each of them, for each partner we are working with. We value a lot soft skills, because if we communicate efficiently, if those back and forths are happening in a smooth manner, we are all gaining time and therefore money. And also for us, if we see that this time spent with the studio allows them to grow in their skill, and from project to project we see big improvements, it's a clear sign for us that it's a talented studio, and we value that a lot. Also, nowadays we have we start to value more some qualities which previously fell more into the category of nice to have. Those are, of course, the ability to launch the game. Not just make prototypes, but actually launch the game. Because for that, you need not only the good understanding of the market, but you need to have a really clear pipeline, really clear processes of how to develop your game to the stage of a full product, to how to scale it. The time matters a lot, and organization matters a lot. If a team is functioning more in the free artist spirit, which is very good at the prototyping stage because they are inspired, etc. But then the hard business conditions are coming into play, and we need to suddenly deliver the product on time. It might be problematic for a lot of studios. Also, another skill which is highly valued nowadays in hyper-casual market is the ability to create sticky gameplay. Because there can be a nice idea, but if you don't know what actually drives the player on replaying your game again and again, it will be hard to retain the players for longer with such a competition, with attention span which is low as ever at players. So if the studio understands the psychology behind the players' actions, if they're able to not only come up with a sticky gameplay, but to leverage it through nice progression, for creating different targets, different goals, things to do for a player, that means that this studio, it's just a matter of time when we'll make a successful game, and that's extremely important.
Thank you. And the next question is quite general, but also interesting. What are publishers and developers looking for right now?
I think I could highlight one comment of mine about this. So as we all know, like by the time changes, a lot of things change, and if you want to be a successful individual or as a company in an industry, and mobile gaming is a huge industry, you need to be always aware of new trends and what's going on around, and you need to strictly follow the industry and also adapt to the new structure of the industry so that you can always stick ahead than the competition, because we know that mobile gaming is highly competitive, especially in hyper casual genre. Ekaterina could add much more insights on that. And again, like just as an example, in the last year, what we have observed is a huge new trend which people started to call hybrid casual, a like a small shift from hybrid casual to the casual gaming, so that they what studios and publishers started to do is they started to shape their games in more like a casual way, but the game still has like a lot of hybrid hyper casual elements in it as well, so that they can also create a sticky gameplay, but they could also lengthen the lifespan of the game itself in the long term, etc. So this could be an example of what you are looking for, because you are looking for the trends, what's going on in the industry, so that you can adapt to them. And this could be a great example, because people who manage to adapt to those new trends manage to stay ahead of competition and stay successful. The ones that didn't follow those trends and adapt to the new industry conditions lost a lot.
So I guess Ekaterina, you could be the next.
Sure. So in order to answer the question what the publishers and developers are looking for, we need to understand first what they need. And nowadays we are at a situation when the market has matured so much that each publisher has its own small specialities, I would say. So someone is specializing like in idle arcade, someone in puzzles, someone in runners. And we have such a variety of publishers, from huge, big, almost factories for making prototypes, testing, etc., to more smaller individual approach publishers like Ketchup. And first of all, as a studio, you need to decide what's a target publisher, which kind of processes you are more interested in, what kind of games you would like to make, and only then try to approach the publishers. Of course, on the publisher side, everyone is searching for experienced studios with a proven track record, who are able to create sticky and polished games, but still to be able to scale them with our help, of course. And that's very important. Like, so experience is golden right now on the market. There is a hard time for newcomers, I would say, because the publishers are less eager to experiment. They face tremendous pressure from the investors. And this is why they often opt for safer options, like making a super marketable runner, for example. And also, they are more suspicious about newcomers. So it's really hard to find a payment per prototype. And that might be frustrating for a lot of studios because back then it used to be easier. So, but I think that, of course, it's understandable why most of development studios are searching for funding. However, I would say that the main goal of a publisher was and is now to provide for mostly for everything which an agile studio doesn't have in their company. That means like big UA department, the ability to massively produce creatives, the game design expertise, the market research, which is very hard to be done with fewer people, etc. So, and this main role tends to be overlooked. So I would advise to find a partner which is sure of what they are doing, who have a track record, and who can guide you and provide for everything you don't have in-house.
Thank you. Ken, do you want to add something?
Yeah, actually, I agree with the part of just keeping the trend, actually applying the trend at the right time. This is the mobile part. But let me add some actually joy to this panel with adding that there is a chaos in PC, because in PC, one man is trying, one madman is coming, one crazy man is just building something, placing something, and then actually the people are just developing games from that. And as I understood from the latest news, some of the big companies also in the change. Probably Katerina will know that better than me. So actually publishing and developing are two different things, and it's really hard to maintain that things in both mobile, because in mobile you're actually you're actually looking to the data, you're just looking at what is happening, why they like my games, why they
Oh,
Oops.
yeah, I actually lost the connection probably, sorry. So in mobile, it is actually like that. But let me tell you one thing. In Web3, I don't believe that the developers or publishers are looking to something. They just look to the money. This is the point, and this is Web3 right now. I believe that. But there are studios that are trying to do something. This is a problem. This is why actually people tell that Web3 is a scam place or something like that. But I'm just hoping that I have a faith on Web3, this revolutionary technology. We will fix that. Thank you.
yes, thank you too. And the other question is, what do mobile gamers and Web3 gamers want? Could you start, please?
Okay, let me start. So actually, mobile gamers always wants to actually spend time in the games. For example, you're bored, then you will enter to the game. Like it shouldn't actually go higher than, for example, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, because they have to be fast. They have to be actually adaptable. And we're seeing that. For example, I like to give a big mobile game. I'm not going to give the name of it, but actually when they actually bring these games to the mobile part, they're actually lowering the time of play. So time of play is decreasing in the mobile. So you have to actually make sure that the people are actually experiencing lower play times. So mobile gamers, as I believe, they want to spend. It doesn't matter what it is. So that is why actually trends and other things are changing so fast, because they want to see something new. But that new thing can be only one thing. So you don't have to change lots of things inside of a game. If you just change a single mechanic, then if you just lower the play time, if it is joy, if it is bringing a joy with it, then it is okay. And Web3 side, I cannot actually talk because we in Web3 part, we didn't see complex mechanic games or something like that. But it is clear that right now, Web3 gamers wants market to actually go higher so that they can actually gain money. I'm sorry, but this is the reality.
Yeah, it is. Okay, Ekaterina.
So I'll talk about hyper casual, of course. So essentially what hyper casual gamer always wanted is instant fun and a sense of achievement, which is easy. So and this demand actually didn't go anywhere. And we see that there's still space on the market for traditional hyper-casual titles. We've seen the games like Hyper Hostess, Monster Demolition, which were in top charts. And definitely players still need such experiences, despite the fact that we are always talking about hybrid casual and deeper games. However, it's also important to tap into this part of the audience. And we discovered that hyper-casual players, some part of them can be easily steered towards deeper games, deeper experiences. And I think that the greatest example of that is how Mob Control transformed from a purely hyper-casual game to hybrid casual game with so many things like in-app purchases, like fake PvP mode, tournaments, etc. So those are things which some part of hyper-casual players also can enjoy if they are engaged enough in the game. And this part is very important to be explored, but we should always remember about the fact that we are making hyper casual. It shouldn't be too complicated, and give a chance to your pure hyper casual ideas as well. They most likely will find their audience.
Okay, thank you. And Alaattin, please.
Yeah. Well, I mean, as we just classify mobile games, like we just don't say mobile games, right? We say hyper casual games, mid-core games, like strategy games and all that stuff. Uh, there are also like classification of people who like to enjoy different things in different games, right? I personally love to play games on my phone. I play a lot of games on my phone, like hyper casual games, sometimes a little competition I like, and obviously like spending some time having some fun. But some people like challenges, like PvP competition. Some players just want to chill and breed horses, like one of the project of Ketchup. So obviously there are many things that they are looking into, but one thing that I think most of the players have in common, uh, once they are evaluating a game, is that again the balance. So every player knows that game developers are developing games for something, and that thing is obviously to make revenue, just like any company in the world. And we are aware as players that you want to make money. We want to have some fun. So we are having a little bit of a trade. So you are letting me play your game, and I am letting you have revenue. But finding the balance in between monetizing your game and letting the players enjoy the game, it is actually a fine line between just like frustrating your player because there are too many ads in the game, and the other part of that line is losing revenue. So as a player, what how I evaluate the games that I personally play is that I look into first, is there an option that I can have a purchase for no ads, for example? Secondly, even like let's say I cannot, if there are like eh, if the ads are running too frequently, that they disturb my gameplay. And third, is there a progress in the games? Like, are there levels or are there competitions, challenges, etc. So as a player, I look into these factors. Obviously, like developers and publishers might look from different perspectives, but I thought it would be a good it would be a good idea if I just bring along a perspective that is also out there.
Okay, and if to talk about the revenue, how do you think how much can mobile and Web3 games earn?
Well, I actually personally don't have any financial metrics or numerical measurements that I can share with the people right now. But again, like with the correct monetization strategies and correct marketing efforts and correct design of the game, obviously, all developers and publishers are looking to create a game that is actually profitable. In at the end of the day, game should earn more than it spends, right? We know some games that are like breaking records of revenue generating. We have some games that are complete failures, which lost a lot of money for their developers and publishers, obviously. But again, maybe the other panelists might have some numerical examples for us to get some insights from.
Let's see who would like to begin.
So I can actually, I'm not gonna give actually numerics about it, but I'll give some important fact about Web3. For example, we're talking about Web3, Web3, Web3 all the time, right? So there is a contract behind every chain. I mean, it doesn't have to be a contract, but there is a rule behind every chain. And in all chains, there are things. For example, when you send money, you're not just giving a fee for actually transfer fee. You're actually also giving fee to the chain's developer, maybe chain's actually owner or something like that. So just imagine there are no actually a high populated gamers in the Web3 games. Just think about it. I'm not gonna give details because there are the games, Web3 games didn't actually create a revenue like that. Just think about it. You just create, for example, a chain and the games are coming here. People are playing the games. They're just paying the fees of the chain, of the network. It doesn't matter what it is. And you are earning money from that. Even you're not actually developing a game. We will see some interesting things that we have never experienced before in Web3. And this is just one example. Just the fee, for example, you're sending an item, NFT, from one man to another man. And this is just an example. So there are lots of things in Web3. There is a huge potential, but as I have stated before, since we haven't seen high number of interactions, I cannot actually give a certain amount.
So definitely we saw the decrease in downloads, which made it harder to ship a successful game to the market. So, and also if we see, if we look at the number of successful games in 2022, for example, compared to previous years, there are less of them. Meanwhile, the quantity of prototypes maybe even increased. So it definitely gets harder to make a successful game. However, those who managed to do it stayed strong. So, and we didn't see a downward trend on the revenue for such games. So, but it requires a lot of efforts. Of course, in order to keep the revenue strong, we need to diversify the revenue stream. So they should, the monetization should include many different ad formats. Many people are integrating like it blended in game advertisement, audio ads. In-app purchases is something everyone is talking about right now, and there is a reason for it. It makes a lot of sense, especially for deeper games. Also, you can keep your revenue by A/B testing every ad placement. So it becomes really technical, really based on psychology and experience. So everything needs to be really well thought and requires more skill than previously. Also, a lot of old players like Ketchup and Voodoo, for example, they rely on their back catalog. It's sometimes easier because the old games are performing still well. And like we heard last week, Voodoo said that 75% of their revenue is coming from their back catalog. And that's actually not surprising given the market condition. So to sum up, I would say that hyper-casual used to be perceived as a gold mine where everyone can come and easily try their luck and probably gain a lot of money. Nowadays, it's not the case anymore. Everything is based on skill, on experience, and on plenty of A/B tests. So if you want to try your luck, that's probably not the right place. If you want to grow and to gain expertise in hyper-casual, that's a long journey.
Yeah.
I can actually add something to that. If you want just luck, then you can actually enter Web3. Right now, there is no actually, there is nothing inside, and it's actually, yeah, it's it.
Okay. So we have already a few questions from the audience, but let's finish with the main topics. And so how do you think, is self-publishing mobile games a good idea?
I have an answer. No. That's it. Yeah, no.
I can explain a little bit more why it's a bad idea actually right now. So as you've noticed, the investment boom in hyper-casual is over. So everyone used to talk about self-publishing in 2020 when the downloads were like historically super high and everyone was thinking that this growth will continue forever. Back then, self-publishing was an option for the most skilled studios who managed to secure the funding and who managed to nurture the expertise in UA, in game design, in a lot of fields which are usually provided by publisher. However, nowadays it's very risky because, first of all, it will be extremely hard to find funding for that. And also in such market conditions, probably it's up to you to decide whether you would like to risk and to try to develop in-house all those skill sets, all those departments, which is costly, time-consuming, or invest all of that energy into just making better games. I think that strengthening your core competences in such times might be more important.
Well, I mean, I could indicate some of the pros that self-publishing could include and first of all, before saying anything, I also think that working with a professional publisher is the best solution currently. But there are a couple of pros to self-publishing your own games, and those could be obviously the control over the application, which you will still hold. Second is the revenue. If the game pops and there are a lot of revenue, you won't have to share it with the publisher. You will get to keep it to your own company or your studio or yourself if you are an indie developer. And of course, the flexibility. But oftentimes, as the two other panelists told, I don't think it's the best idea currently. Obviously, like working with a publisher is more feasible, in my opinion, too. And more than all, like if you decide to self-publish your game as a game developer studio or as an indie game developer, UA is something that most of the people are lacking the expertise. And obviously publishing companies have a lot of expertise in many different areas like UA, game design, creative design, as Ekaterina already highlighted. So a self-publishing individual or self-publishing small to mid-sized studios will be missing out on all that expertise and know-how that could benefit their application a lot. So working with some partners, whether it's a publishing company, whether it's I don't know, they could maybe like create some sort of network which they could have an agency for their user acquisition, have a creative studio working with them for their creatives and marketing and all that stuff. They could create a certain network to maybe like have a workaround the publishing company, but I again doubt that it's going to be worth it. So yeah, that's my feedback.
Thank you. And actually, quite interesting topic to discuss is future of mobile and Web3 games. Your assumption and suggestions.
Well, I mean, I was the last one speaking, so I think I should just quickly answer that as well. Mobile game is like the volume. I think it's still expanding. I believe, and it seems to be likely to keep expanding. But what I think is going to happen is that we are going to see a bit more consolidation because people, especially like big publishing companies and big agencies and all that stuff, they kind of figured a best practices of profitability and monetization, so that as those large players in the industry are consolidating their stand in the industry, we are going to see a lot of acquisitions and mergers. So we are going to see, I think, like my personal opinion is that we are going to see an increasing volume in the whole industry, but it is likely that we are going to see less players in the industry. Like players, I mean companies like developers, publishers, and all that stuff, not actual users who play the games on their phones, because of the consolidation reasons that I have just mentioned. That's my forecast.
Okay, thank you.
Let me add the Web3 side of it to the panel. So actually, with the latest ball that we will have, with the actually upcoming ball, sorry for the pronunciation, with the next coming ball, we will see so many talented people entering to the Web3. As I have stated before, they see the gold mine, new gold mine, as Ekaterina stated before. This is a new gold mine for the people. If this is their opinion, this is thought, you cannot change it. They think that this is the new gold mine, and the people are just like, they are coming to there, like thousands of people. They're coming, they're trying to build things, and we will see good games. Really, really experienced teams are working on really good games, and we will see revolutionary games. And I'm believing that in the future of Web3, we will see that the speed of Web3 networks is not a problem at all. We will actually overcome to these problems. We will actually find solutions. And I'm believing that this will not be a problem at all.
So on the hyper-casual side, I would say that we are pretty glad to see that the borders between casual and hyper casual are starting to be more blurry, because that opens up new opportunities to experiment with new themes, new gameplays, and also, well, of course, there are a lot of challenges on monetization side, on scaling the games, and those changes are making the whole industry once more to totally reinvent itself. And we, of course, in this storm, we would rely on strengthening our competitive advantages, and to invent new ways to monetize, new ways to test, like hyper casual always did. And of course, I would also advise to carefully watch for the news, especially those which are coming from ad networks, from app stores, and new wannabe players in the industry like Netflix and TikTok, because the big changes are likely to come from their side, rather than from traditional competitors like other publishers, self-publishing studios and developers, which is of course more also very important. But those three categories actually are full of surprises, I think.
Okay, thank you. And I guess we have a few minutes for a question from the audience. So, Ekaterina, we have one special question to you. Which strategy catch-up follows today? Do you have anything new trends in hyper-casual?
So our strategy is to focus more on deeper games and less on trends. So because that's a more sustainable direction, trends are coming and going. And of course, we still do traditional hyper casual. That's what I mentioned before. But it still has its own. It still has demand, etc. But deeper games are able to open up new opportunities for you. So and with Ubisoft, with belonging to Ubisoft. And having all the casual gaming knowledge, for us, it's more organic to move in this direction. The trends we've noticed are, trying to integrate inspiration from other game genres, from other spheres, not being afraid of trying something new, maybe for niche audience, but with stronger retention, I would say. Also, that's interesting to see how hyper casual is evolving and how meta is getting more casual. And however, of course, like, you need to think about it twice. Does your game really need that? Because we see a lot of people are trying just to slap the monetization strategy, the meta, on their games from somewhere. They seen somewhere, they think it works brilliant. Maybe it doesn't work for your game. You need to think strategically about that. A good publisher can definitely help you with that.
Thank you. And the last question for today for everyone is, what are the most important qualities for a publisher? Who would like to answer it?
Well, I think I can just briefly share some ideas, and maybe Ekaterina or John could add more. Similar to the development studios, my opinion also as follows about the publishers. It's, again, I believe their portfolio is a good indicator of their success. For like studios who are looking to partner up with a publisher, is if their strategies actually align. For example, like if they are looking into two different directions, then it's probably not going to work. And if the publishers have a good track record with their previous projects, and obviously their let's say availability at the moment, if they're working with too many projects at a given time, then the publisher might not have the resources to spare on your game, etc. There are many factors, but I think those could be the first ones to look into.
Definitely.
I'd like to support Alaattin on that, because the thing that he said about too many projects that the publisher cannot handle. This is an important thing. If they get too many things, they cannot actually arrange meetings. For example, they should actually get the projects that they can handle at the same time. That's really important. Thank you for that. Thank you very much.
I'll be quick. I'll say each publisher has its own core competences which they need to build up upon. For us, it's individual approach, transparency, and a lot of feedback. So we found that those things are very fruitful in the collaboration. Our partners love it, and we want to continue in this direction.
Sounds good. So I guess that's it for today. I'm grateful to everyone for bringing your ideas and insights around the table. And I hope to see you, of course, during our next Hyper Games conferences.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Bye, everyone. Thank you so much.